This video is going to be used to set up VS Code, and when you're involved with NXP MCUs, you can use this environment for compiling and flashing the target. Along with this video, I will be putting the MCUXpresso plugin with VS Code, and then also installing the Zephyr files for real-time operating system. So let's get started here. And first thing we're going to do is I've downloaded the VS Code exe file for a 64-bit machine. So we're going to start to do the install on that, and I'll just pick the default location. Go back. Okay. Let's see. I'll put something on the desktop icon. Do the install. It's preparing for the install. Now, while that is going on there, over here on the Visual Studio Marketplace, under programming languages, there is a MCUXpresso for VS Code plugin, and it's VSC for the acronym, and you can install that on the VS Code. Let's see here. I'm gonna go check out, see how the install looks good. So I am going to open that up there, and from that point I'm going to come over here and hit the continue button on this. Let's see here. We're going to open up VS Code or VS Studio Code. And we are now seeing that inside of the VS Code environment. I'm going to click the install, and then over here on the left side we'll be seeing the X symbol show up. So let's let that tick away. Move that up a little bit. Okay. So let's see, could not find Python. Please make sure it's installed. Okay, looks like I may have to get some Python going first. So let me go set up the Python. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, back to this screen. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go over here and click on this MCUXpresso for VS Code. And once I get here, I'm going to go and open the MCUXpresso installer. Let's see here. It's not installed, so I'm going to download it and get that installed. As well, on this screen right here, it's popping some check boxes up as this is going through the various installs. Previously, I got the Python warning message and didn't do anything extra yet. So let's see what this is over here. So installer, changelog, okay. All right, so now we're in the MCUXpresso installer. What I'm going to do is I want to just tackle the Zephyr install first. So I'm going to click on that one and hit install. This should install many dependency files. Let's see here. Going to click OK on that, and I thought, yeah, if you hover over this Zephyr development section, you're going to get a list of the tools that it's going to be installing and the Git repositories down here for Zephyr SDK, Python support, the package installer for Python. So down here, this is where you'll see all that information play out. Let's see, do you allow this application? Okay, so we're just going to continue forth on this and see what happens. Also in this install, I'll probably come over here and do this SDK developer. And so eventually when this gets done, it's going to put a little green arrow over here, which will indicate that that portion of the installer is complete. And then there's other sections down here that we may or may not want to mess around with. But these are some various pieces to this overall environment. I wanted to try to focus on the Zephyr related install items first, and then I've got this RW612 Wi-Fi Bluetooth Ethernet eval board that I wanted to try to play around with. But first we need to get all the repositories set up and things of that nature. So we're gonna let it download the files that it needs. I'm seeing some Python down here, description of that tool being installed right now. And this process typically would take maybe half an hour or so on a fast Ethernet or internet connection. So we'll let it continue on and see how that plays out. I think I will pause the video for a little bit. Enabling the video again, I noticed there's a icon in the tray that was in the background, so I'm going to click yes to make changes. Okay, yeah, so down here is where I noticed that application was waiting for some feedback. So we'll continue on with this process here. I think I'm going to pause again until this finishes up with a little more processing. Okay, looks like the installing is moving along just a little bit there. And the Python is maybe doing an upgrade right now. It's doing an upgrade on the PIP, the package installation of Python modules. We're 94% complete on this. I saw that it was installing the West tool, which is used for getting and managing projects C code. I think it's really good for repository extraction of files to the local computer. So we're at 100% right now. Let's see if this thing changes in a couple seconds here. What I was expecting is up here that Zephyr developer to turn green, and I don't know if I need to update the screen, but we'll see. We'll wait a little bit and see what happens here. Okay, it looked like the tool completed 100% and stopped doing some activities. So I went in my home directory and noticed it placed a MCUXpresso tools folder. If you look inside of there, there's some virtual environment for the Python modules, things of that nature. I believe in here there's some scripts where you can activate DOS command windows and do some things there if you're on the command line shell, but for right now we're not going to worry about that. Over here we've got some CMake versions, some tools, Ninja tools, wget tools. That's once again in this folder here, .MCUXpresso tools. In the .NXP, not much is in there. The .VS code, got a couple files in there. If we scroll down a little bit, it did download the SDK off of the zephyrproject.org website, and inside of there it's just related to the ARM sort of compiler series, so it's nice and short. If you try to do this West install off of the zephyrproject.org website and you do their methodology on the quick start guide, you'll get a bunch more architectures and SoC that you would be able to work with. But for right now, the NXP tools are just focusing on their install requirements. So we've got that set up in that folder system, and I'm going to hit cancel on this for right now and close this down, and I'm going to come back in and reopen the MCUXpresso installer just to see if this it didn't actually turn green. So I'm going to click that again just to see what happens, because I think a lot of that got installed and potentially it may skip many of the install steps. But what I'd like to do is see that come up with a green arrow. So at least it got through 100%, much faster this time. Let's see here. Let's close this down for a second. It's got these various startup actions and steps that we go through, which is kind of helpful. So let's import a repository, and what we're going to do here is we're going to get the remote one, and I am going to put it in my home directory here, and let's see here, I guess I'm just going to call it Zephyr project. Okay, so we'll type Zephyr project. I thought it would make a directory if there's nothing there. Let's see if it does. Okay, here, let's go back over to my home directory, and I'm going to make a new directory, new folder, and we're going to call it Zephyr project. And I will select that one and hit the select folder button. So now we have a location defined. And then for the repository, you can do MCUXpresso SDK or a Zephyr repository or an open CMSIS pack. So I'm going to do the Zephyr repository, and let's see, I'm not getting options there, so that's not, let's see, not what I was expecting. Okay, let me hit the pause button and I'll be right back on that one. Okay, we're going to come back over here to the installer. Right now, the repository revision is not showing up, and I'm not sure why that is. So I'm going to install this SDK developer portion, and then once we get that installed, we'll see what this overall menu right here is looking like. I wonder if this Get for Windows is working. I didn't give it any login information, so I wonder if that could be a problem. And I do see something down here, ARM GNU toolchain not found. So maybe that's having an issue as well. Later on, I'm going to try to click on this ARM GNU toolchain and install some things on that side of the process. Okay, so it looks like it's continuing to process this SDK developer portion, and I suppose if you look at it, it shows everything that it's doing. So we'll see how well that works. Installation complete successfully. Okay, so what I like about that one is we do get the green checkbox, but for whatever reason, maybe I should have did that one first and then try to do this one. So we'll see if maybe it works a little bit better if you go in order. But on my second computer, I was able to get a lot of those checked green, and it didn't seem, now it's all showing green, so that's starting to work a lot better. So now that we got that looking with the green check boxes, let's come over here back to the welcome screen, and we'll import software repositories. Now we could do it over here on the left side too, but let's do it on the welcome screen. See if this works any better. And it's still not coming up with revisions. So let's close that. Try to import, and it's still not looking good. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna have to play around with this a little bit more. All right, so I went back and reinstalled this one again. Now this Zephyr developer isn't showing a green check box, so I'm going to go and select that one and try to install again. And let's see what happens. All right, so we got more check boxes. Let's just continue to step through these various rows here. Try to make a lot more X's turn into green checkboxes. I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I'll do this Seger as well. So we're doing the link server, and we're going to do the Seger. let's see what's going on now. Yeah, it's doing the installing the link server. So that one hopefully will be done soon. It's updating the status. Let's go do the Segger. We'll do an install on that. Got to install the drivers for the J-Link tool. The J-Link functionality is typically embedded on the eval boards, so you get that for free, which is nice. And you get virtual COM ports on there as well sometimes, usually. So we'll install more of those drivers. Just keep on hitting install. Alright, now we're restarting the computer. It looks like gonna do a restart. Okay, so my computer rebooted, installed some drivers and stuff, so now I'm gonna open up the Visual Studio Code again. And let's see here. We're back to this welcome screen. I'm just going to hit the next section. Not too excited about that. I'm going to come over here on the left hand side and click the X. And then I am going to select the, scroll down maybe somehow. I want to go back to the MCUXpresso installer and look to see what kind of green checkboxes. So we're getting more checkboxes that are green. At this point, I'm going to go back and close this down and try to import this repository over when you're clicking the X to highlight on the left hand side. So we're going to hit import repository, and I'm going to select the Zephyr, and aha, so finally we're getting the version. This is the latest version, so I'm going to select that Zephyr repository, and I'm going to hit import, and now it's going to go and start downloading files. It's going over here to this GitHub and getting many files. And if I come over here to the Explorer window and go to users, my username, we're going to see we've got the Zephyr project here, which is a little newer than the SDK. So if we go in the project, we're getting this .west folder, which is a manifest of a bunch of things to download. But right now it's still in the process of doing all that, and it's a very large file. So we're cloning that into the .west folder here in the Zephyr project folder. And I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but it looks like it's 60% done. So we'll let that tick away. All right, it's picking up some steam. We're up to 80% installed. All right, we just hit 100%. Resolving some deltas. I'm going to go back over here and look in the Zephyr project. It still just has a .west with the manifest. Nothing in there yet. Oh, something just jumped in there. So now the manifest-temp folder has got all this information of what's going to be downloaded here shortly. So let's go back over to the Zephyr project. We don't have a lot of things dumped in there yet, but we can see that the VSC application is going and grabbing GitHub repository details. It's creating a module folder. Looks like putting some libraries in there. Let's come over here. Yeah, here's our new Zephyr folder inside of the Zephyr project folder. So if we could come in here, we'll see a bunch of more folders in here. We've got board files, which we'll talk about various suppliers. So we got an NXP one down here somewhere. And it's got a lot of Freedom boards, and there is the Freedom RW612 that I want to work on soon. And also in the Zephyr project, we've got modules here of libraries and other handy items that will be used in the Zephyr build and tool. But if we go back to the Zephyr folder, we also have SOC folder here of all the MCUs. And once again, if we look at the NXP, we can see MCX, LPCs, IMX, RTs, Kinetis, Layerscape. Yes, 32 automotive SOCs. So let's see how the tool is cranking away here. Still doing a lot of installs, dropping more libraries, information into the module files. So we're going to let that keep on ticking away. A lot of information to pull off of the GitHub. So let's let that keep on cranking. Okay, we're stepping through each of the suppliers' files. Microchip, Nordic. Nordic may be a bigger one, maybe not. Okay, we're getting through those. Nuvoton, NXP, here's the NXP. We'll let that tick through. Modules, HAL. So if we come back over here under the Zephyr, let's go into look under modules and HAL. So here's a bunch of information that's part of the Zephyr project folder. Let's go look in the Zephyr folder. I don't think anything has majorly changed over here lately. So this has been put in place, and now it's putting files in this upper level Zephyr project modules folder. So it's filling this up. Okay, what supplier we're still on NXP, so they got a lot of support in Zephyr. A lot of MCUs and MPUs and product portfolio to support. Okay, we're 94% on the NXP HAL install. And if we go look over in the NXP folder, there's nothing in the NXP folder yet. As soon as this gets to 100%, they'll start to expand and put files in the HAL folder of NXP. All right, we're up to 99, and here it goes. Let's see what we got. Nothing's coming over here yet. Here it comes. Got a bunch of files dropping in here. All right, so more files. Okay, QuickLogic, Renesas, more suppliers. We'll let it keep on ticking through. Come back over to here. So we're expanding out the alphabet. And we're just stepping through. That should be completed somewhat shortly. Okay, so ST is almost done. So we come down here to STM32. We got some folders being generated. Let's come back up to the HAL, and we're stepping through the alphabet. We're up to the T's. think we have now completed the HAL, and we're in the lib folder now. Continuing on. So if we come up a level, we've got this lib folder that's being expanded out. We'll let that tick away. This is some graphical libraries that are being installed right now. So far it's been about 30 minutes from a fresh install with a little bit of hurdles to get through. All right, moving on here, we're ticking through them. Hopefully it will be done here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Looks like we're doing an open thread library. All right, now let me pause the video again. Okay. I think that was kind of a big install process there. Got a bunch of files and tags and stuff that were set up here. Now we're doing some Seger stuff, firmware stuff, module T, trusted module stuff, perhaps, folders. Let's come over here. Here's our T module. TF-A-M. Not sure what that's all related to, but we'll continue to move on here. We're doing some blob files here for some binary files for the RW612 part. Fetching blobs off of the GitHub, I believe they're coming from. Maybe not. So we continue to wait. Let's see what's going on over here. Nothing new in this folder. Okay, it looks like the last thing was fetching some blob HAL NXP files. And then once it did that, I think it might be done. Over here on the left-hand side, we see the installed repository. So that's probably a good thing. On this welcome window, I'm just going to close it down for right now. At this point, I'm going to import example from repository and see if this works. All right, so we're going to select the Zephyr repository, and we'll get the RW612 board, and I want to do, what do I want to do? Like the hello world. We're going to do the hello world, which I'll do this one. Let's see, do I want to do that? Let me type in hello. I'm going to do this one right here that doesn't have the boot, MCU boot. So I'll just do that one, and then I'll scroll down and create it. And I trust the code. And over here on the left-hand side, it should put a Hello World project in there. And at this point, I am going to hook up this board here. So I will plug the USB cable in here and hook that up to a USB-C port and see if this thing will flash. So I'm going to come up here to the flash programmer and go with a Sager and select the hello world. Let's see if I can browse. Let's see, where would that be? It's not coming up automatically here. So let me take maybe I've got to compile that first. Let's hit the import. How do I compile it? Right there. Okay. So we're going to hit the compile on this little shape right there. And maybe that will produce an eval file that I can find in the browser. Here's our build folder. Let's see here. Let's let this build out for the first time. All right, it's got some Zephyr base working directory, so it's got some environment variables that it set up, and continue on for the first compile build project in this new environment. We'll let that continue through. All right, what do we get? We got an eval file here, so let me browse under the build and Zephyr. Okay, so there's an eval file here. So let's select that and hit run. And I think we want to try to program this thing here. Flash operation failed. Okay. So maybe the J-Link needs to initiate the USB drivers, perhaps. Okay, let me pause this for a second. Well, at this point, I'm kind of stuck on getting the binary programmed into the target, so I'm going to spend some time on that and start a new video. Please like, share, and subscribe.